welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That's Anderson. I'm Bryan, Bishop, your host. We're going to flickfest some movies this episode. Ant-Man and the Wasp, of course.
Oh, really?
Just hit theaters.
I thought maybe you weren't going to be able to do that.
Hey, buddy. I'm like Miles Teller in Whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
Car accident, car flips over.
Did you limp your way?
Where are my sticks?
Brian got into
Where are my stubs?
a car accident on the way to Ant-Man, and he had to let Avery and I know immediately. I pictured you like out in traffic doing that thing where you're exchanging information.
I was home by then.
I imagine him just slamming on the brakes, and there was not even a fender bender, but he's like, this is a good excuse.
A great excuse.
Man for me.
Tokyo Godfathers, assigned by Jonathan Oxorn, will be also Flickfest. I Want You Back, assigned by Emily Hood. And All That Breathes, Oscar-nominated All That Breathes, was seen by us.
It's true. Isn't there a fourth film? You say all four.
Yeah. Ant-Man, Godfathers, I Want You Back.
Oh, yeah. All the breathes. Hey, look, are we lining up on all four?
Yes, we are.
Oh, man, it's in my head because I know there's at least one listener who doesn't like that.
I think that's a really small minority.
You know how I know how you feel about minorities, so we should just ignore them and continue to marginalize.
Yeah, or go out of our way to harm them.
Not funny, Brian. Not in today's climate. That we don't make jokes about that.
I feel
that.
bad.
I'm sorry I led you down that road.
I regret what I said.
Jillian was at work today. She has to go in a couple days a week.
Dude,
Jillian's my
speaking
beautiful wife. My beautiful wife. She was a social worker. She houses the homeless, if you must know, and she deals with the Department of Mental Health.
She does the Lord's work.
I'm
saying on her business card.
Saying too much, but she was in the office today, and when she was saying goodnight to me last night, she's like, "I'm going to be very bored in the office. Please send me entertainment." You know what I sent her?
Film Vault.
I sent her kind of close. I sent her a screenshot of a screenshot that you sent me via text. Someone making fun of you. And she goes, "Why?" And she's like, "That's very sad. Why are you sending this to me?" The tweet about somebody who went and saw, on your recommendation, went and saw the latest M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie.
I stand by it.
And they said, like, I forgot that Brian has a brain tumor. And I probably should not take his advice. So Jillian.
That should be always taken into account.
And then she goes, "Why are you sending me this?" And I said, "You asked for entertainment." And then she goes, "Well, it's just kind of sad." And then I took a screenshot of your response, which was never forget. Because he says, "I guess I shouldn't forget that Brian has a brain tumor." And your response was never forget. And then she laughed.
See, there you go. Jillian's on my side.
I don't know if I can trust that she laughed because she sent the little crying, laughing emoji. I don't think she was laughing that hard, but she might have chuckled.
Can I be honest with you? And I don't know if this falls under the category of humble brag.
You don't have a tumor?
Or neither here nor there, who gives a shit. I've never sent an emoji.
It's the latter. It's the last one. Who gives a shit? Yeah. I've never done
LOL.
LOL. Which I
really?
the same kind of thing.
I
can't stand the LOL. You're not LOL.
I am
Stop doing it.
I am
Just
so
fucking
principled.
lying.
I am so principled. I will only send LOL if I actually LOL'd.
Yeah, but then you have to actually type it out. Like, I actually just laughed out loud.
No, I'm a man of integrity.
No, if you just write LOL, everyone's going to think that it's the same bullshit that everyone else is doing, which is like, they can barely even muster the strength to do the L. Yeah. Oh, God, this is depressing. L. Send.
I'll be 5 minutes late. See you soon.
An
LOL.
Entire generation is just.
I don't punctuate with LOL.
I guess it's like how are you? Doing great. The stock answers that we're all kind of just used to as human beings.
Right on. No, but my bad.
Let's just wash out the fucking the dribble.
Can
we just wash it out?
I want to go to what's real.
We should all just stop talking. That's where I'm at. That's
kind
of
where
on a podcast.
That's
kind of where I'm at.
That's true.
I'm into that.
It's just let's stop talking to each other.
I'm sure
Let's stop talking.
At least 40% of our audience is pretty pleased with the idea of me just not talking.
Certainly me as well.
That's
all right.
A very high number.
Let's do that starting now.
The Brian Solo Show.
I don't speak extemporaneously well, but I would like to give Avery permission to talk because I want to hear what the listeners have seen.
Oh.
What?
I gotta talk. Jonathan Mooser, I would like to thank him again for bringing us this week's top 5 as a decider. J-Moo has brought us top 5 Jewish characters, which I checked with the lawyers. I checked with the
ADL.
I checked with everybody. It clears because he is Jewish himself.
Oh, okay.
So it's okay.
Well, we did a gay character. Oh, I see.
Gay characters. I don't think that was brought to us. Was that?
One set. But Jonathan is not Jewish.
No, Jonathan is Jewish. Jonathan Mooser is Jewish.
Why would it be a problem?
Well, I mean, if he's it doesn't. I'm
making
half
saying
of a
top
joke
5
here.
gay characters. I don't believe either of us are gay.
What's a cat?
What is a cat?
That's from What Is a Woman. It was a gotcha moment, which we're
made a terrible mistake.
We need to get that clip. We need to steal it just because it's such a great clip from that What Is a Woman, which is a movie that all of our audience will never see, nor should they see.
Might be in the trailer.
Might be in the trailer. I've made it just a terrible mistake. Also, looking forward to tomorrow, which is this has already happened by the time you guys hear this. But Bryan and I, and many of you, will be watching Eraserhead. Many of you, for the first time, will be watching Eraserhead.
That's a mistake.
Including Emily Hood, who will be watching Eraserhead. I talked to her earlier today, and she is a bit concerned.
Why?
Because she's never seen Eraserhead.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You should have a cup of tea on hand. I feel like that would.
I heard. I forget if I read it. I think it was. I read it on Reddit or a Facebook page, one or the other. Someone posted that they're actually having friends over to do the watch along with us.
Yeah,
which I believe is a mistake.
People are making an event out of it. This is the biggest one we've done so far. I think people seem to be pretty excited. We'll see. We'll see what the numbers are. Hopefully, a number of you can make it. I know a number of you can't make it live when we do it, but it's too late. It's already happened already. But if you're a part of that level, the watch along level, which is $10 a month, or any level
It'll
above
live
that,
forever.
it's right there for you. So go in there to the Patreon and click on it. You can watch with the comments and all that, and watch Bryan and I kibitz.
It'll only be the second time I've seen the film, which feels like the right environment. Commenting, laughing.
Yes, enjoying a lot of downtime, a lot of time to fill the.
A lot of dialogue-free time.
That's right. That's right. All right, go ahead, Brian. What do you got?
I got nothing else.
You were throwing to our Avery.
That's right. I was interrupted by the one who shouldn't be talking.
That's right. That's true. Can't help myself.
And Flickfessions, compiled by the host of the Film Vaulters, Mitch Burns.
Oh yeah, Mitch Burns. I finished that History of the Film Vaults episode. Underwhelming.
What a dick.
You had 47 hours to listen to that?
I listened on 5 times speed.
Yeah,
so I might have missed something.
That'll do it. David J on Reddit. Ant-Man Quantumania. I've read the hate, but that aside, I found it a fun time at the movies. Still, not a movie for those that have MCU fatigue or never enjoyed comic books. So most people. Anthony on Reddit. Ant-Man Quantumania. This was a big miss for Marvel this time around. Filled with CGI, and most of the jokes do not land. No interesting characters besides Jonathan Majors. Ant-Man FVT score is
75.
No, it's lower than that.
What do you think?
50.
59. 59.
Oh, wait, that doesn't work.
Shogundo on Twitter. Great name. I saw Ant-Man 3, and I give it... Why was that separated? Weird, Mitch. I saw Ant-Man 3, and I give it 5 out of 10 Mike Carano's. I don't know if this was a joke, and I don't get it because I don't listen to the After Disaster.
What? I don't understand that at all. I don't know.
No,
part of the After Disaster. I don't get the
system.
The last part was hateful because everyone should listen to the After Disaster. That is criminal. Tim Capeta on Facebook saw Knock at the Cabin, and M. Night Shyamalan is finally back in my good graces.
Oh.
Tim might have a brain tumor. He makes a tight mystery thriller and gets a great performance out of Dave Bautista.
I agree.
Who is destined to be a
movie.
serious acting force.
Mm-hmm.
Wattstacks.
What?
Wattstacks.
Like
on Facebook.
Like Watts Towers?
Wattstax. Wattstacks. On Facebook, hey, Black History Vaults, great document of a concert. Hold on. Great document of a concert documenting a touchstone moment in civil rights. Entertaining, interesting, and damn funny.
What movie is that?
What?
Black History Vault? Is that a...
I thought that
I
he was
thought there
making
was a pun,
suggestions for us.
I know. I thought
So did I.
He wanted to rebrand the show for this month.
Black History Vault.
We are going pink in October, right? Where every single top 5 is going to be pink.
Yeah, breast cancer awareness. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think he forgot the title
Avery
of the
might not
movie.
show up.
No way, did he?
I Googled Black History Vault, and there is
It's got to be Summer of Soul, no?
It's got to be. I think he was so excited for his pun that he forgot to
The
include
title of the movie. Well, we're reading it. Here we are reading it.
Oh, there you go. At Midway Guy on Twitter, The Pale Blue Eye on Netflix. This got a little weird, but it was a solid watch. Slightly above average murder mystery, so 3 out of 5 stars.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
Is that it?
Right.
And that is it.
Thanks, Mitch, for compiling those and sending them to Avery in Comic Sans. Appreciate that.
Always appreciate it.
Is it really?
It was, yeah.
Comic Sans.
Comic Sans, very good for those with dyslexia.
So I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
I still can't bring myself to look at
Because
Comic
they're you can't transpose them as easily because they're not symmetrical.
Oh, they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're lined up so. Symmetrical.
Asymmetrical typeface.
I like that.
What do you know about that shit? Oh, everything.
But also very little.
All right, let's rock and roll.
We got some movies to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm not talking, remember?
You're really taking that not talking thing seriously.
I'm very excited that you saw Ant-Man because I want to get to the bottom of this, and it sounds like I'm still going to be confused.
You want to walk us through the car accident? Did you make this up?
No, I don't want to hear the car accident. It's one of those boring car accidents.
It's
He walked me through it, and I'm like 3 minutes in. I'm like, okay.
I think it was not 3 minutes.
It was at
long.
least 3.
Stop.
You talk slow.
That might have been true. Yeah, minor car accident. Everyone's good. You want to talk about Ant-Man?
Yeah, let's talk Ant-Man.
Ant-Man
and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. It's a 2023 film in theaters now, directed by Peyton Reed. He, the director of both Ant-Man sequels. All the Ant-Man movies, I should say. Also the director of Down with Love. I don't know if you knew that or not.
And Get It On, or
Yeah, Bring It On.
Bring It On.
Bring It On.
Got to get it on. Gotta bring it on.
Gotta bring it on.
Paul Rudd as the, wait for it,
Stop it!
he's Ant-Man. Evangeline Lilly as the titular Wasp.
Oh, Jesus.
There it is. Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh, the white gold, Michelle Pfeiffer. Jonathan Majors, Catherine Newton, Corey Stoll, and Bill Murray are in this cast. 47% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Why is it cut down to 47?
Yeah.
It's not good.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
getting crucified.
In theaters now, like I said. I don't know. I didn't love this movie. I don't know if I would go as low as 47%.
Yeah, it's absurd. I don't know what's wrong with these critics. The critics,
It's possible.
we got a lot of critics from the deep south.
Why do you say that?
I mean, because I evidently that's some of the problems with this movie and how it's getting downvoted. There's politics involved, and she's anti-cop right off the bat. She shrinks the cop car, and she's like sticking up for
That's
the
a
homeless
pretty
people.
Minor.
The unhoused.
Evidently, that's an issue. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not. I would never have. You could have given me 20.
I noticed
others.
it bugged me a little bit because I'm like, you're a little young to be taking sides here. Plus, you know what? I know how the homeless clearing goes because, once again, I'm married to a lady who, she's involved. She's not involved with clearing. But what they do is
Gets out
they
the push
post.
broom.
They say, hey, this is a public park. You guys are, it's illegal what you're doing. You got I think it's usually 48 hours. It sucks. It's not great, but 48 hours to vacate. And then people, usually young people with too much energy, they decide to take sides, and she had shrinking rays that was able to shrink down a car. What if there was a cop inside?
I thought.
What if there was a canine inside?
What if they? Oh my God, a canine unit. I thought it fit the character well. She's young. She's got daddy issues. She lives in San Francisco. Like this, all this makes sense.
Well, what's funny is Gio was letting me know. He's like, hey, this movie's getting groupered. Because that happened with my movie, right? A bunch of people downvoted it without even seeing it and gave it 1 star overnight. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's really true, Gio. I said, if that was the case, then people who watch The Last of Us, like episode 3, which is a standalone episode about a gay couple surviving the mushroom apocalypse. That would be getting downvoted. He's like, do you live under a rock?
I think that
Go
actually
look
happened.
what happened.
I think it's actually
Yeah.
Absolutely happened. Yeah. So
You like the game mushrooms?
what's that?
That episode, the game mushrooms.
Oh, I love that episode. It's
I was
by
gonna
far
say-
and away
Oh,
the
focus,
best
focus.
episode.
That's what I was saying. I
It's
couldn't
so good.
fully recommend, but that one I thought that was brilliant. That was the one that made me go numb. I was blown away by.
I
that
was
episode.
hoping to get more into politics. So far, they haven't. There's still a long way to go. But I mean, it's a what do you call it? Zombie. It's a fucking mushroom zombie show, and it's just I don't.
But that episode, worth it, just as a standalone.
So good.
Fucking
Jillian-
incredible.
I don't know if I'm saying too much, but Jillian, who's pretty, she's pretty buttoned up. She's always telling me to button it up, sniveling, crying.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I started
brutal.
crying.
Hold that against her.
Yeah, it was a very good episode. All right, let's talk more about
And
Ant-Man.
also, it wasn't like this was a celebrated hero of Antifa. Like, she's a miscreant. She's getting thrown in jail. Her dad's like not berating her, but he's like, coming down on her. Like, you can't be doing this. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a weird hill to die on for this movie of all movies.
Gio, send your email to Brian explaining why
do
you
not.
came to
Do
this.
not.
What was
came to
Brian's
this
email
conclusion.
again?
It's really mean.
All right, so let's talk about the hate. Well, let's talk about this movie.
Okay.
This is a movie that is everything like a fun action throwaway movie should be. And I was thinking while watching this movie, like we've come a long way, and we're very lucky. And I might have said this before, but the blockbusters, the summer blockbusters, the big popcorn movies that we grew up with it was when the meatheads were in charge, right?
Yeah.
And it was like Rambo and Shoot 'Em Up, and like Michael Bay was like
They were
still
dumb.
is around.
They were dumb.
They were dumb. now we're getting like the nerds
There
are
were
in
Frank
charge.
movies.
They were Frank movies, and now we got the nerds in charge. And sure, they're still kind of disposable, but at least they make you think, and they're fun, and they're based on some actual things. And we got maybe the little
We got some
CGI
jokes,
heavy.
some asides.
Yeah, and like this movie was Star Wars. It was as much Star Wars as it was anything Marvel. It was like Valerian and the Thousand Suns or whatever it was. It had shades of that, and
A lot of stormtroopers.
I loved all the creatures. I had a good time with the CGI creatures, and I'm still trying to figure out if nipples count as holes, because I think they do. So that would make it 9 holes.
That's a good
right?
point. Yeah. It's depending on what you
Do
can
nipples count as holes? Because
Depends
like
on the
milk
size of the hole, yeah.
comes out, but there's a number. I guess they didn't
But
want to
do
get
tear
into that.
ducts count
I
as
was gonna
holes?
say,
Those are
and
holes too?
How far are we gonna go? Every pore in your skin is a hole.
That's a good
Sweat
point.
comes out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's a good point. That was one of the funnier moments I had so far this year. It's early. But when he was sitting there counting the holes in his head, and you knew exactly what Paul Rudd was doing, that was good stuff.
That's good. There was a moments. I didn't hate this movie. I didn't love it, but 3 stars. This is passable entertainment.
The first 2 acts were fantastic. The third act, as a lot of these movies do for me, kind of fell apart a little bit because it's an inherent problem with these types of movies because they have to continue to ramp it up for the antagonist, right? The antagonist has to continue to be mightier and mightier, and they create these unstoppable forces in these characters.
True.
But then the inevitable has to happen. And sorry, guys, but in case you don't know, Ant-Man ends up prevailing in this one, and they can't come up with a serviceable, satisfying way for the inevitable defeat to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Although I do appreciate, and Giovanni, make sure you include this in Anderson's email. How
For those of you who might not know, Giovanni, superfan Giovanni, he's very, very invested in the show, many shows, not just
he's
ours.
very invested in
and
MCU.
Marvel as well. And my son is very invested in him. He named his beta fish Captain Geo Johnny.
Oh, that's good.
Mispronounced his name, but
I did appreciate, without giving anything away, there's a voiceover towards the end, done in kind of a tongue-in-cheek manner that alludes to, wait, is this person gone? Is this thing coming back? What have I done? Oh, well, let's move on. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed the wistfulness.
I have no idea what's happening.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't? Okay. I can't get into it, but
Okay, good.
that's a weird thing not to remember.
But yeah, Jonathan Majors was great in this as Kang the Conqueror, and I love Stoll as well. Stoll was fantastic
MODOK.
as MODOK, and it's just hilarious, right?
That's good.
And back to the whole scene, which was just a glorious scene with Chidi from The Good Place. If you guys watch The Good Place, Chidi from The Good Place, I forget the actor's name. Terrible. William Jackson Harper. When he said he could read
Bill
minds,
Jack. Yeah.
when he said he could read minds, and he just stop thinking that to Ant-Man, to Paul Rudd, and he's like, it's disgusting. Stop. That was a great back and forth. I don't know how much of it was scripted.
No, there were moments for sure.
So I really had a good time with this one.
Oh yeah.
Until the last act, and it was just like, all right. Here
I found it maybe a little more disposable, I guess, than you, like in one eye, out the other.
yeah, it is for sure.
I'd
But
also just endured a personal trauma.
was that the car
That's right.
accident?
That's right.
But I don't understand. I don't quite. I mean, unless critics are finally getting the fatigue that we've had for a while. But for a Marvel movie, I mean, I would say this is of the Marvel movies that I've endured, and I got to keep up with the storyline, which I usually do not give a shit about. Like, there's a lot of eye candy and fun to be had here.
Speaking of storyline, I assume that they're basically establishing Kang the Conqueror as the next supervillain.
You know, if you sat through the credits, yeah, you'd have a.
Yeah. I saw the mid credits sequence.
You walked out before the
I didn't get
the
to
Loki
end.
credits
I don't
on
give
the
a shit
very
about-
very
I don't
end.
give a shit. I assume they're promoting the TV show.
I couldn't take any notes because I was watching this in the theater with one of the actors
Well, I
sitting
took
right behind me.
bright
I didn't want to.
notes.
I didn't want to do the bright notes. Would have been frowned upon, I think. So yeah.
How was the CGI? Because I heard not so great things about the
Fine.
CGI.
I mean, it's
fine
kind
to
of
me.
run of the mill. It's what I'm used to seeing. It was better than the
Industry standard.
wedding kiss that I saw recently, with Jonah Hill's wedding kiss and
I
the
understand.
You People. They did a CGI. I don't know why.
What?
CGI kiss. I don't quite understand why they did it. Anyway, yeah, I don't. It's a great movie for like a February action packed. We're spoiled.
Yes, you know what?
We're
You're right.
spoiled.
Considering the doldrums that used to be February, this would have been the best movie ever to come out of February in like the year 1997.
I was thinking that too. Like if this movie came out 10 years ago, and I know CGI's
10.
5 years ago. 10 years. Let's
Well,
say
say
10
a
years
little
ago.
more, yeah, okay.
10 years ago. Like, this would be like the best Marvel movie ever made, maybe, right? Short of Iron Man. Imagine, like, it's just, we're spoiled. And the story was fine. The story was what it was. There's a lot of science behind it. And I haven't read the critics' reviews. Maybe they come up with some good points. I don't know. I don't care. I enjoy it.
I think the Marvel fatigue is setting in, which is, like I said, this should be an above average movie.
I think it's a better, above average Marvel movie. Dare I say.
Dare you say.
I do say. Yeah.
You also enjoy the Ant-Man movies.
I do. I like how they don't take themselves too seriously. And there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. Yeah, I like that. I like it. All right.
This one being set in the quantum realm was a problem for me because I like the same things that you like about those movies. Like, wasn't Dalsmachian and someone else like two sidekicky guys? Oscar, what's his name? The Hispanic fellow.
Jeremy Pena.
No.
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena.
Yes,
Jeremy Pena plays with the Asterisk.
Michael Pena and Dalsmachian were like his two kind of like sidekick guys, and they were great comic relief. I enjoyed them every time they popped up, and they were just nowhere to be found in here.
No, they were. Or he was. David Dalsmachian was.
He was?
Yeah. David Dalsmachian.
Was it a cameo?
No, he was the pink gloob guy. He was
Oh.
Veb. He was the guy who loved
So
holes.
He was voiceover.
He liked holes. Yeah.
That character was delightful.
Yeah,
I enjoyed.
he invited us all down, the entire the acting class that I've been volunteering with.
Oh, is that where you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it on the Disney lot with 85 of my friends who are actors and Melody Challenge actors, and David was there with his family, sitting right behind Atticus and I, and we got to see it on the Disney lot, and it was fun watching Atticus be completely riveted. I had to pee, and Atticus was pissed. He's like, I'm like, no, there's a boring part coming up. It's where Pfeiffer and Kang are talking, and I'm like, yeah, they're just going to go over the whole plot for people who are a little bit lost, and then we can come right back. Sure enough.
But Daddy, that's me.
I have no idea what's going on. But no, yeah, and the entire, it was an unique experience watching a movie with nothing but the actors in the movie and then mentally challenged actors, and they were all completely in.
You got to get Dalsmachian on the show.
I don't know if he likes me.
Tell him about me.
I think I fucked
you were a
up.
begrudging invite?
I think I mean, he invited the whole class. I just put my foot in my mouth every chance I get.
Yeah,
and like,
that's kind of your thing.
he was being introduced because he comes and he volunteers with us. I just kept hearing about the guy for the last 2 years, and then he came like 3 weeks in a row leading up to Ant-Man. And maybe he was just doing a little grassroots pushing of the movie. I don't know. But, got
to get them while they're young.
The lady who runs the place, who created the whole program, she was introducing him to everyone like she does. Like, she puts people on the spot. She's so kind and sweet. Like, she'll introduce people who are just volunteering as geniuses. She's funny. So she's doing that with David Dalsmachian. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm like, yeah, the first time I ever saw David was in the Dark Knight, and he was so creepy. So creepy. And then some other guy, another volunteer, is like, yeah, but then he was Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. I'm
Equally
like,
creepy.
Still very creepy. I don't know why, because that's what he was going for, right? And I was paying him a compliment. But
And then I saw him in Prisoners, and he was even fucking creepier.
I don't think he was in Prisoner.
Yeah, he was. He was the guy who went he was going door to door. He opened the door, and Jake Gyllenhaal's talking to him. He's like, I don't know anything about that. No, he played like a suspected pedophile.
He's a really, really sweet guy, and I think that he's been a little bit standoffish with me. There's a lot going on in that class. Could be in my head. The narcissistic side of me is going, why are you saying hello? But who knows? I don't know.
Tell me you're a film director.
He knows, because Mary just goes on and I shouldn't have said her name. All right, let's get back to. Are you sure he's in this?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not saying.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not saying Prisoners.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not saying. All right, let's go.
I'm almost positive. I'll look it up.
The Dark Knight was his second credit, which is amazing, because
That's
there's so much going on with The Dark Knight, and you just see that face, and you're like, that guy scares me. He was so good. I was trying to pay him a compliment because he did creepy. Hey, one of the funniest scenes that I saw 2022 was Weird, and he was the bassist of Queen in that pool scene.
Oh yeah,
Fantastic actor.
Yeah. Weird, the Weird Al Yankovic movie.
Okay, he got beat up, it looks like. Yes, there he is. Prisoners. He plays Bob Taylor.
Things happen.
All right, let's move on. We got like 90 movies to talk about. Let's do it.
Really do. You want to save the best for last?
All That Breathes? What should we move on to, Brian? Help me out here.
Let's go to All That Breathes.
All right.
All That Breathes. All That Breathes.
All That Breathes is up for Best Documentary.
Is a Best Documentary nominee from 2022, directed by Shonik Sen. starring brothers Saud and Nadim, and a bunch of birds.
Yeah, and the brothers are a barrel of laughs.
Oh yeah,
A lot of hijinks.
A lot of quotable lines.
Mm-hmm.
Memorable. They're gonna stick with you for a long time.
I love the part where they're staring off, pondering. Remember that part?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that one part. 99% of Rotten Tomatoes. You can stream this on HBO if you're lucky enough to be a subscriber. So this movie opens really sets the tone. Yeah.
Imagine like a 13-year-old, or let's say 11-year-old, discovering movies and Rotten Tomatoes and trying to figure it out. And they watch Ant-Man, and they're like, "Oh, okay, so there's much better movies out there. Let's see. Oh, All That Breathes,
Oh, that's twice as good.
99%. Okay, well, and just the confusion and the hatred of critics that they have for the rest of their lives.
The opening really sets the tone, Anderson. It's early morning, let's say dusk, in what is revealed to be India, and we're opening on a rat-infested park.
Yeah, it's a crawling
It's just
shot.
a slow pan, a slow pan across.
I think it's on tracks.
Almost an endless number of rats digging through trash.
Yep, it's showing the natural landscape that is the new normal in this. It's New Delhi, right? And
They speak often of New Delhi. I believe that's where it was.
And they talk about how mainly the movie is about these two brothers who are taking care and concerned about the state of things on a natural level, particularly what it's doing to their favorite bird, which is called the kite. Which is a very interesting predatory bird. And the amount of pollution that's in this part of the world in particular is fascinating. It's actually, they talk about this. They talk about some of the stuff where the animals are evolving very quickly to deal with this pollution. One of the things that the kites are doing is they're taking discarded cigarette butts and stuffing them in their feathers to keep parasites out of their feathers, which they talk about this in the movie.
I'm realizing how clever that is.
One of the frogs is like growing an extra toe. Not sure exactly what that's for.
They're all sort of metamorphosizing in front of us.
And they're evolving to suit this pollution problem.
So there's no problem.
It's not for long.
Nature's figuring it out.
There's an action scene where one of these kites comes down and takes one of the brothers' glasses. That was pretty exciting.
That was the highlight of the film.
The meat grinding scene was pretty good.
When you mean say good?
It was good. Look, gripping this thing is not. However, there are some things to learn here.
I was truly nauseated by the meat grinding.
Were you?
I was. It did not come on a good day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I was upset. My stomach was angry. And there were flies all over this freshly ground meat.
And they're grinding it up for their kites that they're taking care of. These birds that they bring
they're kite enthusiasts.
Yeah, so they bring in all sorts of they're bird guys in town. And anytime a bird gets sick or is having problems, they go and they pick up get the reports and they go. Which I would have liked a little bit more of that. Like, how does that system work? Do they have like billboards around? Is it word of mouth?
At one point, they go to visit an investor who is giving them what I assume is a modest amount of money because he's like, you people have. You guys have noble intentions. I believe you're noble people, but I can't give you any more right now. This is the most I can give. And I assume they just run on donations.
Yeah. But like, how do people know that they are the bird guys?
Exactly.
There's also some backdrop with religious riots occurring. These guys are Arabs themselves, which is a whole different ball of wax, especially in that part of the world.
Please
in
don't
India,
mention that in this episode.
In India. But
some real Leviathan vibes.
I have spreadsheets. Was great. I don't know what that even means. What in the world? Lots of slow panning shots throughout this thing. They're going with the real fly in the wall take, the observational take to the point of almost Leviathan, and it's.
You get a lot of close-ups of nature. There's a frog at one point. There's a turtle.
One of the brothers, that's what it was, the spreadsheets. Yeah, and this really resonated with me, actually. And he was talking about falling in love with science and biology and animals as a kid, as a youngster, and having all this vim and vigor and ready to do this. And now he just spends most of his time dealing with spreadsheets and funding things, and just how depressing that is. And like, he's still doing what he thought he wanted to do, but it's not. And that's the case with a lot of things, in the world. But the fact that this is up for best documentary, it kind of infuriates me when it's not a bad movie. It's just there's other movies that are worthy. Well, there is good messaging in here, and people should read an article about this probably.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
I believe they were featured in the New York Times, which really no pun intended, kickstarted their efforts, and the money starts coming in. And remember, they're looking at bigger and better facilities.
Yeah.
And at one point, you get the sense that, oh, this is going to go on, in perpetuity.
And one brother is going to the United States to get education so he can come back and help. And there was a story here. They had incredible access. However, it seems like they spent more time setting up camera rigs to do slow tracking shots that were somewhat interesting, would have done better, I think, with some voiceover, as well as a lot of cooked scenes, which I don't know if you were sensing that, but I was sensing there's a lot of, especially there's a slow tracking shot across their office space, and they're talking about really important stuff that's going to change their lives forever, and it just seemed like it was being acted poorly.
Okay.
And that happened a few times in this movie. So yeah,
Well, this movie is subtitles, you can imagine, so it's hard to pick up on the nuances.
I mean, you can still tell that people are kind of stiffer than these two normally are, which says a lot. And
you can see them being sort of coached, like, all right, you need you guys talk about, whatever just happened.
For sure, because they have the camera on the rig and they're doing that slow pan as they're getting this vital information to these two brothers' lives. Either it was cooked or it was exceptionally lucky that it happened as it did. You know what I mean?
I enjoyed very much the scene where they bathe the kite. That was very cute.
That was cute.
Yeah, nice.
There's like a good 15 minutes of good stuff in
Yeah, this would be a nice 60 minutes piece.
45.
No, you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
60 minutes.
Two brothers. Tick, 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 tick,
Yeah, exactly.
The clock is
These
so
two
good.
brothers in New Delhi are rescuing kites.
They were.
No. There's a scene with kites.
I always liked kites.
They're flying kites.
They did show the kites. Makes you think. Really makes you think. All it breathes. I don't hate this movie. I just can't recommend it to anyone.
I don't know who would enjoy this.
Hey, I watched some of it with Atticus, my 6-year-old. He enjoyed it.
Really?
He had a lot of questions like, "What are they doing to that bird, Daddy? Are they killing the bird, Daddy? Why are all those birds dead, Daddy?" There's one shot where it's just like a bunch of dead birds on the roof. They just lay them all out. And you can tell that it really hurts them to see these birds die and see what humans are doing to the environment.
The one brother is beleaguered. He's like, "I'll help you dig the grave." He's like, "No, you worked all day, not helping these birds."
So matter of fact, not helping these birds. But it is inspiring, not inspiring. It's almost like hopeful in a sense.
Yeah.
To see nature is actually getting ahead of the curve, and like no matter what we throw at them, there will be fallout, obviously, but they will evolve. Animals will continue, a lot of them will, and we will end up dying out. But nature will always prevail. It might take a few 100,000 years, but I mean,
1,000 species go extinct every year.
They'll grow some more toes and put some cigarette butts in their feathers and be fine.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it the fuck out.
Okay.
All right, take a quick little break here.
Confuse
Brian.
All right, I guess we're taking a break.
Joke. Yeah, we're gonna come back with a couple of signed movies, which are probably gonna be more interesting to talk about than the two new ones. I would actually say absolutely will be.
I'm looking more forward to these.
Yes. Ooh, nice.
Welcome back. Time to go over a couple of assigned films. Which one do you talk about first, Anderson?
Let's go Tokyo Godfathers.
Tokyo.
And we'll keep the rom-com for the very end for those of you who are opposed to rom-coms.
That is a good breeze.
Even though you should not miss out on our rom-com talk. I trust you. Trust us, right? Am I right?
We'll see.
Oh, Brian.
Tokyo Godfathers is a 2003 film assigned to us by Jonathan Oxorn, directed by Satoshi Kon. 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. You can rent this across multiple platforms. I got to tell you, Anderson, not too many notes.
Not too many notes. That means
That's
that Brian
usually a good
was transfixed. He was gripped. A lot of notes for All That Breathes.
A lot of notes,
Yeah,
a lot of thoughts.
Were you writing notes about other things that have nothing to do
a
with
grocery list, things of that nature. Yeah, exactly. To-do list. Not so much for Tokyo Godfathers. Tokyo Godfathers, 2003 Japanese animated film about three, I guess, titular Godfathers. No, there are three homeless people. One, a young woman, probably about 20-ish. Maybe.
I thought she was younger than that, but
Okay.
not important.
Fine, 18.
I mean, if it's on the note, I mean, they usually are like 12, 13-year-olds in these. types of movies.
Okay, yeah, that could make sense. She's animated, so I didn't get a great.
Trying not to make generalizations, but usually they're not of age.
Fair. I didn't get a great sense of her age. Anyway, a man who is an alcoholic, a homeless man, and a former drag queen who is I guess the de facto mother
transition,
in this
right?
weird triangle. I got what we would have called back then a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She identifies as a woman.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh.
These are deplorables. All three of them are like down on their luck,
sure,
homeless.
The dregs of society.
The dregs of society, exactly. And they come upon a child, a baby, a small baby.
Well, yes. While arguing one night near Christmas, it's snowing, and they're in a trash pile. They spend a lot of their time in trash piles, Anderson, and they're in Tokyo, and they're in an alley, I guess. And all of a sudden, you hear baby crying. By the way, the baby crying sound effect or whatever they did, awful.
Oh, really?
I wanted to stop.
I mean, it was realistic.
Anyway, they come across baby, and they're like, "There's a baby in a bassinet in this trash pile here. Let's de facto adopt it."
Yeah.
Time I use de facto. Let's adopt it, and then be its three parents.
There's some factions going on. The leader of this threesome of deplorables does not want to.
That's
he wants
true.
to turn it into the fire.
Like,
and the other two are kind of pushing more to like make a family. I'm thinking, is this like Three Men and a Little Baby remake? This is 2003. Also, I'm having big problems with the animation. Some animation from this from Japanimation manga. I mean, I don't know. We're out of our element here. Okay, kids.
This is not my
I get intimidated because I know how into this some of you guys are, and I'm out of my element. I get that. However, this animation was hideous.
A little more off-putting.
It was off-putting, and I did not enjoy looking at it, and that concerned me.
It was almost in the style of the Kill Bill animation.
See, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. You see?
I know. That might have been ignorant.
Or accurate.
It's true. We'll never know.
But I was concerned, but the characters were rich enough, and the story was rich enough, and we'll continue to talk about it, but let me just say that this movie sticks the landing. My God, does this movie stick the landing and make it all worthwhile. So
the three characters are Jin, Hana, and Miyuki. Jin is the old man. Hana is our drag queen, our former drag queen, who's fallen on hard times, and Miyuki is the younger girl who was separated from her family. Anderson, I was doing some research on this because the one problem, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. The one problem I may have had with it, and I'm stretching here, but the plot is convoluted. Plot has a lot of coincidences that come together.
Tokyo's a small city.
I don't know if that's true, but the director and I think he's a co-writer talks about a theme of this movie being meaningful coincidence, how a lot of it is meant to be sort of more than just a coincidence, but that's in a meaningful way. So I was glad to see that was intentional as opposed to lazy.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And sometimes coincidences are worthy of telling a story about, even if three consecutive coincidences will give you an ending that is very satisfying. And I audibly guffawed or laughed like in a joyous way. Not one, not two, but all three of the things that happened. Might not have been audible with the one. I can't talk about it because I don't want to talk about the ending, but it's rare that a movie ends so perfectly as this one does. And it did involve coincidence, absolutely, but it was well earned, I think, because we cared about the characters and therefore cared about the coincidence and what it led to for each of these characters.
Am I still in frame? I lean forward.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care.
But the listeners care.
Oh, yeah, your head's just really big now.
Specifically
Very
the
large.
female listeners. What else is there? I don't have a lot of notes on this movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the gangsters were good.
A whimsical tale, and also not as fantastical as maybe like Weathering with You. You know what I mean? Like this is a little more rooted in reality.
What's?
I'll just assume you agree with me.
Yeah, Weathering with You was. I know that you really like that one, and that's beyond coincidence. Like that's like supernatural stuff, which also is hard to, if you can't deal with supernatural stuff, you should be able to deal with coincidence and vice versa, right? Because maybe the coincidence is from a higher power, right? And I kind of got the sense that that's what this movie was going for.
Okay.
Because we already established that these are like the lowest dregs of society, as you said, right? The lowest class. And they are rightfully calling out the shortcomings of the classes above them. And that's a theme that's throughout this movie.
Well,
and
they were all at one point members of the upper classes.
and they kind of dropped out as we learned because they don't really believe in the upper classes. But yeah, the gangsters were great. I really like that element of, they might be looked down upon by the middle class, but they're not like saints by any means, but you get the sense that they're better people and care about the more important stuff than the people above them do. And the perfect endings. I'm kind of stuck on that.
Oh, yeah.
The bitch slap, for lack of a better term, was very, very good as well.
Well, I don't remember the bitch slap.
I can't get into
Okay.
it. Well, I mean, she's not really a bitch, but she's
I see. Oh.
But yeah, the lowest of the low, casting judgment on the classes above them. I enjoyed that, and thank you, Jonathan Oxorn. This is a prime example of a movie that we would have never seen.
Totally off my radar.
Probably my entire life would have gone by. However, I mean, I've seen Millennial Actress, one of the directors. Others, Paprika has been told by many that I need to see Paprika.
Had you heard of this movie?
As well as Perfect Blue. I have, just in looking up this director. He's one of the heavier hitters in this circle.
Yeah, he has quite the resume.
But I think,
I wasn't familiar with this. And
Millennium
this is
Actress is one that I think my buddy Greg Srzavasti says like one of his all-time favorite movies. So
Really?
I watched it. And,
that's tied with 5,000 others.
I don't know if I remember anything about it, to be honest.
I enjoyed this.
It is tied with like 5,000 others. I love Gregor.
Man loves movies.
He does love movies. He loves movies a lot. Yeah. No, but he just said kind of in passing like it was one of his favorites. So I tracked it down and watched it immediately. And no, it was good. Millennium Actress is good. But I don't know. What's your favorite that you've ever seen of, Spirited Away? And I know it's a basic.
I haven't seen that one. That was Spirited Away.
I mean, Ponyo? You seen Ponyo?
No, that's a Ponyo.
I feel like these words are hitting me in the face and hurting me.
I've seen Weathering with You.
Yeah, I know. Hey, we got like 3 or 4 more coming up,
Nice.
signer levels. So
Nice. Keep them coming, guys. This was fun. I enjoyed this.
all right. I would imagine that our last movie to Flickfest of the week was your favorite.
There was a fourth?
I would imagine that I Want You Back was your favorite movie that you saw, and I would imagine there's not a lot of notes.
I'm going to quote Anderson here. Went down smooth.
Went down real
Went
smooth.
down real smooth. I Want You Back. I Want You Back is a 2022 rom-com that went mysteriously completely under the radar. Had you heard? You know most movies that are coming out via your other projects.
The poster looked vaguely familiar. It's the kind of movie that I think that my brain just like, no room, move on. You know what I mean? Just do not litter yourselves with this.
2022 film directed by Jason Orley, starring Charlie Day. You may know him from It's Always Sunny, of course. Jenny Slate, Scott Eastwood, and Gina Rodriguez.
You said it pretty close.
86% Rotten Tomatoes. You can stream this on Prime. This is an Amazon exclusive release, as far as I can tell.
Manny Jacinto too was in this Logan, and also from The Good Place. I've talked about The Good Place a couple times on this episode, and he's the guy that played Jason, who was in love with Bortles from the Jaguars. For those of you who watch The Good Place, he was probably...
He's in love with Blake Bortles?
Yeah.
Why?
It's his favorite, because he's a very particular character on The Good
That's
Place.
a very strange person to be in love
He's
with.
very simple. He's from Florida, and he likes all the things that you're supposed to like if you're from Florida.
Okay.
He's great. He's great. But
He was good in this.
That actor is Manny Jacinto, who I love.
Lots of patter. Lots of solid patter in this movie. The movie lives and dies on the patter.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that Jenny Slate was not one of the accredited writers, because it was very funny, and I imagine that a lot of things that she and Charlie did in this movie were like improv and like on the fly.
So let's back up a step, because I imagine most of our audience doesn't know what this movie is.
I would imagine that as well. Let's keep saying I imagine.
I have to imagine. We should. So
Set up
this movie should not work because it's like a high concept rom-com, and the concept's kind of dumb. Like it's kind of the concept that's probably been around since the 90s.
They make a reference to Cruel Intentions. Is it the same? Because I don't think I've ever seen Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions
is it the same
is
storyline?
more or less. It's not about getting someone back. It's more about like crushing an innocent young girl. But it's the same kind of thing where you're pretending to be in a relationship for ill-gotten.
Oh, that's a fun one.
It's kind of like
Cruel Intentions.
Oh, yeah. Based on Dangerous Liaison.
Oh, stop it!
Dangerous
It's kind of
Liaison.
like In the Company of Men, a little bit.
So, yeah, similar construct. Yes.
With a different payoff. Okay, yeah. So they both get dumped. The same
Yeah, so
week or whatever.
our two main characters, Charlie Day and Jenny Slate, get dumped by their respective girlfriends and boyfriends, girlfriend and boyfriend, and find themselves they work in the same building, and they find themselves crying in the same stairwell, and that's how that's their meet cute.
Yes.
They're both despondent.
What's with the meet cute? Can I tell you? I don't understand where it came from. It just popped up all of a sudden, like 2 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
No,
I never heard of meet cute. I was with Charlie Day's character from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he thought it was meat cube, and he was like he wanted some meat cubes, which I totally agree. Meet cute, I never heard of.
Is a staple of a trope of
Did I just
rom-coms.
avoid it my
You did.
entire life?
I think there was a movie called Meet. Can you look at? Is there a movie called Meet
No,
Cute?
we should not bring that. I mean, we're doing enough here with the "I Want You Back" in the program feed. I mean, you want to like.
Yeah, in 2022.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that one?
Pete Davidson and Kaylee Cuoco.
I didn't see
Pete.
that one.
58% on Rotten
Speaking
Tomatoes.
of Pete Davidson.
Yeah, he's. This is from the director of the Adolescent, the movie that the Pete was in. Come on, it's like the only one.
He
of the
only
only
had,
movies
he only had one film credit, as far as I could tell.
the director?
Yeah, he had a couple. He did a couple of Pete Davidson specials, I think.
No, he directed the. What the fuck's Brian? You're of no help ever.
I feel like I'm a lot of help.
Big Time Adolescent.
Okay.
Big Time Adolescence. Yeah, it's where they're trying to make Pete Davidson see if he had the chops to be like a leading man and the lead of a film.
Okay.
I don't know if he was because I did not see Big Time Adolescence directed by Jason Orley, same director as I Want You Back.
So Charlie Day and Jenny Slate have a meet cute in the stairwell of their big office building. They're crying, and wouldn't you know, they start to meet on a regular basis.
Was it cute
I mean,
when they met?
Yeah.
Why do they call it a meet cute? It's just a weird term.
It is.
Where did it come from?
You're right. It's a weird term. I don't know.
This is not Shakespeare.
No.
Usually things like that are Shakespeare.
Avery, research the etymology.
Do
of
not
meet
talk
cute.
to him. Like, don't not just demand things.
I have to give him an assignment.
Can you? Would it be a star?
Would you please?
Yeah. My dad.
Oh, accidentally coined by a German-American film director, Ernst Lubitsch.
Oh, Ernst did it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I just got a bit of an Ernst kick thanks to Jeff Covey.
He had,
Just went down to Earth's wormhole.
I did. Like, no, I just Flickfest to be or not to be, not to.
See?
Yeah.
So he had difficulties
Ernst.
speaking English, and he attempted to describe the encounter between the characters played by Claudette Colbert and Gary Cooper in the 1938 film Bluebeard's.
Okay,
Is
so
the
it's
Wife.
been around for a while.
Yeah, a long.
Anderson says the last 2 years.
But I'm surprised it's that old.
This is satisfying me.
1938,
Yeah.
meet cute.
Every rom-com has a meet cute.
When you said German director, God, I was hoping you were going to say Werner Herzog, because how great would that be if he, by mistake,
That would be
coined
great.
it?
That's
What is
exactly what I
this
thought of.
meet cute?
But yeah, it makes sense because it's like broken English.
Yeah, it's pidgin English, exactly.
It's not pigeon English. I mean,
You
it's
never
not
heard
like
that?
mate, cute, mate.
That's not pidgin English,
Pigeon.
idiot.
Oh, I'm thinking of what is it? Cogni. I'm thinking of Cogni. Pigeon is like the version of that for Hawaiians.
Pidgin English is like a poorly constructed English. Anyway, I don't know, who cares? So they get
I
dumped.
do.
They
The
meet in the
language
stairwell.
fault.
Then they start hanging out, start carousing about their love lives and how miserable they are, and they come up with this exotic plan.
Exotic.
Yeah, there's a needlessly elaborate
I
plan.
want to call it exotic.
This needlessly elaborate plan where Jenny Slate will infiltrate Charlie Day's ex's new relationship, and Charlie Day will do the same for Jenny Slate.
Yes.
She will infiltrate her ex's
And get them to
new
break up.
relationship.
And they'll be using lots of birds of paradise to do so, right? Because it's exotic. Oh, wait, no, it's not.
Exotic just meant like way outside the norm.
Okay. You are the English major over here.
That's right.
I just use it daily. A lot. I use it quite a bit.
You think that separates you somehow?
What do you mean?
Using English.
I mean, I
daily?
use it a bunch.
Okay.
Have you heard this show?
Almost exclusive.
Constantly using it. I'll declare that I'm not going to use it.
Relentlessly.
Use it for a short period of time and then use it immediately thereafter. That happened on this
You
episode.
use it irresistibly. Unrelentingly.
I always lost the quiet time game every single fucking time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I set up the plot.
Yeah. Here's what's fantastic about this movie. You just heard the plot. It's these two people who have.
It
I'm not
sounds
gonna
like
say
a
it.
Freddie Prinze, Sarah Michelle Gellar movie from 1996.
The cast is really what sets this apart. The witty dialogue, the patter, as Brian mentioned, and you know that it's working. It's going down smooth because you can see the writing on the wall. You know pretty much exactly what's going to happen. A lot of it does happen, not all of it, but a lot of what you know is going to happen
Broad
happens,
strokes.
and it's still okay. Like, even though it's incredibly formulaic in many senses, it breaks from the formula. Now, I talked to Emily earlier today, and she's aware of a lot of these disposable rom-coms. This is a com-rom, I'm going to say. Because it's more comedy than it is romance. Yeah. But she sees...
Good date movie.
It is. It's a very good date movie. She sees, the dribble, the Netflix formulaic rom-coms that they spit out, which probably don't cost a whole lot of money, and they get response that they're looking for. And there's just a lot of people out there that don't need quality. They don't need to be, challenged with anything, to the point that they can just watch absolute and total horseshit. And if it's got attractive people with a happy ending, and my wife, who's way smarter than I am, which I know doesn't say a whole lot. Brian's wife, they love watching drivel.
Sure.
So I think
it's a way to turn the brain off.
That's why these movies are doing well. But every now and again, one will take the extra step, like this one did,
and actually be worth watching.
I'm talking a little bit out of turn, because I'm not a connoisseur of these movies, so maybe they're all equally as good. Okay. I'm going off of what
I've seen most.
Emily Hood told me. Okay. You sit and watch with your wife.
That's right.
You.
I don't like it.
Pathetic excuse for a man.
There's a fun line that I had a good laugh at when Charlie Day plays he's turning into a one-trick pony, but that one trick, like we say, is good. Like when he does the Charlie Day kind of character, and he gets sort of caught on in his own words, and he stumbles, and he gets himself deeper and deeper into trouble. And at one point, he explains that I won't give the context, but he's talking about having children, and he's like, we wanted a daughter, but I mean, a boy would be good. I'm sure a little boy might be fun to play with.
The troll hole.
Yeah, and then that's when he's like, what?
The boys.
Little boy might be fun to play with.
Yeah, there was a little bit. You know what? Surprisingly, though, he was able to be a different character entirely. I don't know if I've seen Charlie in things like Horrible Bosses, and obviously It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but he didn't lose himself in the character, but I believe that he was this different character who was very caring and just a solid, good guy, which he had to be for this character to work.
Sure.
And ultimately, what really worked for me with this movie, and I can't get into it, but it's at the end, and it's hearing like two adult human beings talk about relationships in a healthy fashion, which you just don't hear or see, and that ultimately happens in this movie. And I thought it was really interesting to see that in a movie.
This also has a crazy, stupid love-esque sort of climactic scene where a lot of characters come together in a place. It
worked. Yeah, this whole movie. And once again, I think some of my favorite parts of this movie are actually that it sticks to the landing, as my buddy Greg would say. And it does it in the final scene is nonverbal, which I think was very clever.
Yeah, that was
very well constructed. And I'm not going to say I got emotional, but like if the tears were down here, they might have moved up like
they got on deck.
Still down towards the basement.
Swinging the bat.
They weren't quite on deck, Brian, but
yeah, they had the batting
they were going towards the elevator. You know what I mean? Whereas before they were in bed.
So labored metaphor.
Very labored. Yeah, it's exotic, some might say.
Exhausting.
Exhausting it is. Heaven Can Wait is another one of the Max Ernst. Ernst Lubitsch. Max Ernst is a very different person. Ernst Lubitsch directed films. Ernst. Yeah, I was reading something about Ernst just the other day. Very sexual guy for their first time too. Ernst Lubitsch. All right, they skip over him in film school. He was not one of the guys that we studied at all.
Not Ernst. A guy that comes to mind quickly. There's a Little Shop of Horrors scene.
Oh yeah, you love that.
Intercut with a date scene that takes up most of the second act of the movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's enjoyable. I liked it a lot.
When she had to fill into the play, that was fantastic. We get to see Jenny Slate's chops. It
was like good situational comedy where like she established herself in the movie with a lie, and then of course that lie comes around and she has to pay it off.
Yeah,
that was fun. I enjoyed
that. All takes place in Atlanta. I don't know if we mentioned that. Yeah. Atlanta it's almost like a character.
I didn't realize that till the end. Am I an idiot?
They say Atlanta early on, and then I kept forgetting that it was Atlanta. I'm like, oh, what city is this? I'm like, oh, they said Atlanta. So I just
must have forgotten.
I can tell you this: if all rom-coms or com-roms or whatever you want to call them were like approached this, I'd seek more of them out because it just makes you feel good and happy. It goes down smooth. It's an easy watch and it's fun. It's somewhat disposable, but hey, I really liked it.
What did Emily Hood say? Why did she assign this to us?
Because she said it's not a run-of-the-mill type of rom-com, and she she thought that we would enjoy it, and she wanted to show us that not all romantic comedies are dumb.
I'm on your side, Jenny.
Who's Jenny?
Emily. Sorry,
Jenny
look at
Slate.
Jenny. Sound like a Jenny Slate.
Jenny
I'm on your
Slate.
side, Emily.
Yeah, Emily will be, her and her husband will be on, well, by the time you hear this, it's already happened, but we'll be on the call or on the phone or on the computer. They'll be watching
None of those
Eraserhead with us tomorrow.
Oh, no.
They'll be watching Eraserhead.
Well, it
yes.
might be on her phone. It might be on
Could
YouTube.
be. Yeah.
YouTube chat.
All right, so that's that. That's that. We both recommend
What?
I Want You Back.
Can I give you a...
I Want You Back, Brian.
I think I saw this over the weekend. I saw it recently, obviously, and I've already recommended it to someone.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
On
We were
Tweeter?
having actually having dinner with our neighbors last night. It was a holiday, and one of the wives was like, I tried watching that new rom-com on Netflix with Reese Witherspoon. Wasn't that good? I'm like, I got one for you.
That's what Emily Hood's
I got
talking
one
about.
for
Is
you.
it?
I want you back.
Yeah. Are the people pretty enough for her, though? I mean, that's another thing that it kind of takes a left
This
turn with
wife?
this one. With this rom-com, usually like the two leads are exceptionally attractive.
They're non-traditional in that sense.
They are non-traditional.
Although Scott Eastwood and Gina Rodriguez make up for it.
Yeah,
They're
but
very attractive.
They're on the screen quite a bit, I guess. Yeah.
Everyone else in this movie is gorgeous. Your boy from The Last of Us or The Good Place, or whatever
The Good
fuck it's
Place,
called,
yes. Is he a gorgeous man?
He's a handsome fella.
Handsome fella.
He's got the long hair.
There's a threesome.
He's pretty cut.
There's a threesome in this that doesn't turn out well. What?
Material.
Well, I mean, I was going to say that.
You said it doesn't turn out well. Now it sounds like murder.
And then there were two. Hey, we recommend this movie. Enjoy this movie. Huh?
Yeah, goes down easy.
I Want You Back.
You sold me a threesome.
It took that long.
And then
That was the
Brian-
last thing we said.
Right. I would say
Safe at the plate.
I'm not going to rank these movies. They're all so incredibly different, except for Ant-Man and I Want You Back, both being disposable and entertaining and fun. Those two are kind of linked in that way, but All That Breathes and Tokyo Godfathers, they just don't really fit into the mold of there's no way to meld all these movies together this week, right?
There's no through line.
There's no through line, Brian.
No common thread.
There's no thematic thread. There's not.
Aside from, we appreciate everyone who assigns us a movie, including Jonathan Oxorn and Emily Hood. Thank you guys for being assigners.
Let me say before I forget and before we move on and end this episode, next week we will be talking. Can you do two? Can you?
Depends if we get another car accident.
We're kind of crushing this. All right. Can you? Because we're gonna do Cocaine Bear.
This Oscar season.
Cocaine Bear.
It's Oscar season.
That's an Oscar movie.
An Oscar movie or a movie that we feel like we still need to
I'm
catch
going
up.
to see that. That's not a problem.
Cocaine Bear's gonna be watched, and then
Let's just do one assignment. Come on. I got a backlog now.
Baby Teeth.
Baby
Nick Eats Cake. Nick Eats Cake is assigned as Baby Teeth. All right.
Baby.
And then the following week will be Rudderless from Robert Jarosinski.
Baby teeth.
My boy. And then I am going to be talking a little movie called Soft and Quiet, which, Avery, I think you would enjoy.
What is that?
Soft and Quiet, a movie from last year that was missed by me. It is a ride. I rented this one. I always get a little bit skittish with telling people to rent a movie these days. We already pay for so many services, and there's already so many things that are streaming at our disposal that we have not seen. But Soft and Quiet is a look at what happens when alt-right women get together for a book club type deal.
Oh, fun.
It is
I am
hard
actually,
R.
Is this a doc or is this
It's disturbing as fuck. Not a doc.
What's it called?
Thank God. It's called Soft and Quiet,
Oh,
and it's a oneer, which
really?
kind of adds to it, but didn't need to be a oneer. But these ladies mean business, and bad shit happens, and it's uncomfortable
Wait, is this
and
documentary?
infuriating. No, it's not. I've
Okay,
already covered
sorry.
that part. Thank God it's not a documentary, but I would imagine you could. There's that. Imagine you could. Soft and Quiet was quite the fucking ride. And this, I don't know if I've seen a movie with this many female names in the credits, both sides of the camera. It's almost exclusive.
Shocking image to the screen.
Blumhouse. It's a Blumhouse production, I should say as well. Soft and Quiet is a movie that I
Are
almost
we gonna
missed.
be okay with this?
It might crack the top 10 for the Volties. It might.
Really?
Holy shit, the Soft and Quiet.
Wow.
I'll try to stomach it.
Soft and Quiet.
I saw All Quiet. Speaking of quiet.
All Quiet on the West.
Devastating.
Like I missed a bit.
Devastating.
That last. Do that last act.
It's a leak.
It's a
Fucks
real,
with you.
real dark horse for Best Picture. Just saying.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Hey, is that what we should do? Is Oscar Locks? Do we do Oscar Locks?
Yeah, of course. Oscar locks, vaulties, revaulties.
All right. Let's get out of here. Let's wrap
All
this.
right. Thanks again, Jonathan Oxorn and Emily Hood, for assigning us films. We appreciate everyone who signs up at the assigner level, which Jonathan and Emily did. Very cool. Appreciate you guys. Contributions to the show means a lot to us. Thank you. Uranium Orchard is the featured artist. You're listening to them right now. Check them out at andersonandbryan.com for more information on Uranium Orchard. Orchard. AndersonandBryan.com is where you go for all things Film Vault related, including that Amazon banner that sits atop the page. Go ahead and tap that when you're in your shopping. It'll cost you $0.
Zilt.
And it'll get us a little bit in the back end. Anderson and Bryan is the Instagram. Anderson and Bryan is the TikTok, YouTube, the Film Vault podcast, the Film Vault on Facebook, the Film Vault on Twitter. Check out our socials, guys. Connect with us. Send us thoughts on films. Vote on our top fives. Tell us what you've seen. It's all there. We'd like to hear from you guys. Thanks to all of our Patreon listeners, not just the assigners, everyone at every level. Bless you. Giovanni, thank you, my friend. Mitch Burns, Mike Cole, and Eric Kath. Check out Addie's Antiques. Got new stuff. I got alerts all the time. New stuff being added to the store at all times.
What's that?
Addie's Antiques.
Yeah.
Getting alerts.
Dude, you should. Oh, my God. She's created this whole entire business. And we both have together, but she's definitely the driving force behind it. We had like, I think, 30 sales over the weekend or something.
Really?
Like, it's like she's going to have to quit her job. I'm like, honey, what are you doing?
How about you quit your... Oh.
No. It's a lot. Today, Atticus and I walked, like, look at, I'll show you the picture.
Addie's Antiques listed adorable vintage Steinbach wooden music box.
Here's Atticus. This is our second trip to the post office.
Oh my God.
Taking all of the packages.
Look at you guys.
Yeah.
Addie's Antiques listed. Fenton Fairy Lamp Candle Shade.
I'm
Addie's
good.
Antiques listed. The point is I got a lot of alerts.
Should we stop alerting you?
No. I like to see what you guys are up to.
All right.
So keep it up. Check it out over on Facebook. And until next time. Wait.
Well,
Top five.
I have a show to plug.
Yeah, what? Oh, you do?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, first things first. Top 5 Jewish characters next episode. And Avery has a show coming up.
Yes, so I'm going to be putting together a monthly comedy show, the first one of which is going to be on Friday, March 3rd in Santa Monica. It's at 8 p.m. at The Crow. I will be producing and performing on it. It's going to have a ton of hilarious people on it. And the hook of the show is we collect anonymous confessions from the audience.
All right.
The comedians riff on them up top, and then they get into their act. So it should be a lot of fun, and it should be good. So you can check out the link to the tickets if you go to my Instagram page at Avery Comedy.
So people are
Okay.
going to be writing down, like on index cards, their confessions, and they're
And the
anonymous.
comedian will pull it out of a hat, and
Oh, that's
then they'll
pretty
riff
good.
on it.
Do you
and then
remember
they'll
that
do their,
book?
It's
That-
called Comedy Confessional.
That coffee table book, I can't remember what it was called, but it was some crazy guy just left postcards with self-addressed stamped envelopes all over the world,
No.
saying, "Please tell me your deepest secret." And then he just
No.
put together this book. It's kind of like that.
There you go.
Oh, I love that book. What was that book called?
That's Friday, March 3rd.
Friday, March 3rd, Comedy Confessional.
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
May have to be there.
At the
May have
Crow.
to have to show up. May have to be there. I'm not going to, but I may have to.
May have to.
We
All right, you guys.
do
Till
it.
next time.
We do it for Mango.